joining us on this lovely Tuesday. We are your hosts of Coast Life. I'm Paige Marley.
I'm Leah Rizzo, and no, we didn't skip over the rest of summer or fall yet. We just coincidentally dressed a little Christmassy.
Merry Christmas! We're not jumping that far ahead. I am pumpkin spicing it up already.
Oh yeah,
but I'm not like peppermint mocha-ing
well,
it up
sort
yet.
of. So I've gotten into just like generic spice.
Yeah.
That's where like my spiced chai.
Ooh,
and that's where I'm starting. That's where I'm starting things off.
Okay,
you know,
you're easing your way into it.
yeah, because we really only have what 2 weeks left of August. There's the rest of this week and next week, and then bam, September. Which, as far as I'm concerned, September 1st,
You
it's
can't
fall.
say anything to me after that. It's
Right?
fall. I'm good.
The leaves are crunching.
I came to a compromise with my fellow co-anchor because this is a big discussion. He does not think it should be pumpkin anything yet. So we came to the compromise that the day of the first football game, you can start drinking pumpkin spice.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, so I think, I think the ladies tend to measure our season by whatever flavors are in. Guys, it tends to be sports.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I was like, okay, September 1st-ish, I can deal with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're ready.
There you go.
But before we dive into our show, we always like to just chit chat, catch you up on things that are going on with life, whether we are giving you some water cooler topics for work tomorrow.
Yeah.
And one thing that we thought was kind of interesting, because honestly, I think at our hearts, maybe we both would truly enjoy this.
Okay.
But they're calling them lazy girl jobs.
Heck yeah.
And these are jobs that are sort of low effort, a lot of flexible hours, a lot of freedom in their own time, but you know, pay enough to be a full-time job. So whether it's like, right?
Okay. So it's kind of like girl dinner or girl math. It's this, I'm not even going to call it lazy. It's the simple way. It's the work smarter, not harder way.
Yeah. Well, and I almost wonder if we're sort of seeing an uptick in these sorts of jobs or like desirable jobs, because after the pandemic, I think statistically speaking, it was a lot of women that ended up staying home with the kids and childcare. And so they either had to quit their job or find a more flexible job that allowed them to work from home.
Totally, totally. And now it's turned into lazy girl job, which we're not calling you lazy because we want these jobs too. As much as we love our own jobs, I think my lazy girl job would be, I have some options. Billionaire's wife, rancher's wife, millionaire's wife.
Fair enough.
Like super successful sports or CEO wife.
There you go.
Thanks.
I like your list.
Thanks. What would your lazy girl job be?
I saw this on the list, although I really don't think it's much of a lazy girl job per se, because I still think a lot of effort would go into the lesson planning, but art teacher was on there.
Oh, fun. Okay.
That was like 25 on the list I think I saw, but it would
That's
definitely be my top 5. But I think
because you wouldn't even be working, you'd be having fun.
For me, it would just be fun. Yeah, it would be exciting to get the kids excited about art. I think having summers off would be really exciting as well.
Every art teacher's like, until they act up.
Yep. Right. Yeah, I know. Exactly.
That'd be fun. Hey, any ranchers or what was the other one? Billionaires. What up?
Or millionaires.
Or millionaires. Just kidding. And again, we don't think you're lazy. This is just one of those tongue-in-cheek fun trends that's going around.
Something else that we saw that is being talked about, Elon Musk, one of our favorite billionaires to talk about, is talking about removing the block button on X, formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah, he came out and said this. He did say that direct messages, you could still block people, but you couldn't block accounts on your timeline. So here's the thing. I actually like the name X. It's cool. I like the new logo. It's fine. I don't like this, though.
I don't like it either.
I have a lot of people blocked.
Yeah, well, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, freedom of speech, you can say what you want. Like, yes, but there's also consequences for saying certain things. And if what you're saying is bullying or harassment, getting blocked is a consequence of those things. It's a safety issue.
It is.
It's a safety issue.
That was the one thing a lot of people were saying was like, hey, I block people who, especially people who are maybe in a spotlight of some sort or have a public job. Like, hey, I block people who have been creepy to me or harassed me. And so he's keeping the mute option. So I think you can mute that person, but what I don't understand is like,
but if they don't mute you,
right? Yeah, you don't want them seeing what you're posting. So I'm not with this one.
Yeah, because if you've ever dealt with like a stalker situation and like you just don't want to give anybody a clue as to where you might be in the world, or even just if you've ever dealt with something like that, it can feel really violating when somebody is stalking you online and you're like, I just want to stop.
I have a feeling this is one of those things he might backtrack on.
I hope so.
I'm hoping. We'll see what happens.
I think sometimes the cost of those billions is no common sense.
Billionaire's wife.
Right.
Just kidding. I promise.
One more thing we kind of wanted to touch on before we dive into the show today is something that you like. It's something that you love so much, even though maybe you know it's kind of bad for you. Like, is it a habit or something dietary? Like, what is something that you're never going to quit doing, no matter what?
Leah, I'm glad you asked because this gets me fired up. I will never stop drinking Diet Coke, ever. And every time I have a Diet Coke, people say, what about aspartame and what about this and what about this? I don't care. I just don't. You are probably eating and drinking things that are bad for you. I'm going to drink my Diet Coke. It's the one thing that brings me happiness in my life. Let me have it.
Don't yuck the yum.
Thank you. And I'll go to a drive-thru and I'll get the nastiest, biggest burger with the biggest side of fries and all the sauces and a Diet Coke, and people are like, you're trying to be healthy? That's not why I'm drinking it. I just love it. Sorry. What about you?
I guess, I know you're not really supposed to hit the snooze button multiple times over the course of a morning when you're trying to wake up. You're supposed to just like start your day. And I used to be that person. I was. Like, I could start my day, hop out of bed, the birds are singing, and I'm like, yeah, I got this. But now I hit snooze at least 3 times. Like, I've fallen in the habit of like now I like the rule of 3 and like that rhythm of 3. So I'm like, I wake up once, I'm like, all right, snooze. And then twice, I'm like, snooze. But I can't get up at 2 because I'm like, I need that 3rd one or not at all. So I am trying to break the habit, but it's not working.
It's okay.
And I've been trying really hard.
Yeah, those like health bloggers and the girls with like the clean girl aesthetic are like, wake up early to your alarm. Let us have our peace in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I like to slowly wake up.
I will also probably never stop telling people how bad fat diets are.
That too.
That's also
that
one.
Too.
Sort of speaking of the clean girl aesthetic that I was thinking of, where people are like, oh, I'm not eating fruit right now because it's too much sugar. Like, there's so many other things in fruit that are good for you.
Yes.
Eat it, please.
Also, I'm never going to take you serious in celebration of what we're wearing today. I will never take you serious if you tell me, don't listen to Christmas music till after Thanksgiving. Are you bored? Are you sad? Like, what's up? Like, it's you're having a bad day in the middle of July. Turn on some Christmas music. You'll feel better. And if it brings me joy, it's not affecting you.
Yeah.
So
as long as it's just you and your thing, it's fine.
I'm not blasting it through the speakers at work. It's just in my car.
Yeah, then who cares?
Exactly. So you keep sleeping in. Well, not sleeping in, just sleeping along with your alarm. I'll keep drinking Diet Coke, and we'll be happy.
Well, we've got a great show planned for you today. We are checking in on our friends at Preston, and they're going to tell us what's going on with He Cook Fest this year.
And it's Tuesday, so we're checking in with our friends at Seaside, Krav, Maga. We have another Get Home Safely tip for you.
And maybe you're looking to do a little bit of early holiday shopping, speaking of Christmas.
Yeah.
Sellers we're wearing. Well, our friends at Lord's Mercantile have you covered with great gifts and so much more. All that is headed your way when Coast Life gets back.
Coast Life is brought to you by BB Healthcare, Coastal Comfort Heating and Air Conditioning, Preston Automotive Group, and Shell Brothers.
Leah,
Yes.
you look gorgeous today.
Thank you. That was so kind.
Well, I'm practicing. Because tomorrow's Random Acts of Kindness Day.
What?
Tell us a little bit more. We have Ryan Ennis with us on the Coast Life Couch. Ryan, thank you for being here.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. This is really incredible. I can't wait to talk to you more about this. Do you care sharing a little bit of your story with us? And you mentioned some things with your family and your job as a life coach. Can you just kind of dive into that a little bit?
Sure. Back in 2020, I had spent the last couple of years kind of reading all the self-help books and doing like the radical years of self-auditing and self-growth and all that stuff and drinking the Kool-Aid, so that I decided in 2020 I was going to start my own business. I was going to start my own health and wellness coaching company for people that worked in the restaurant industry. I had been a bartender and a personal trainer for years. Wanted to bridge the gap together. And that was the idea. Right, so burn the boats, leave everything else behind, start the business, and then 2020 hit. 3 months later, COVID hit, right? So that didn't pan out as well as I would have liked it to, because restaurants also shut down at that time.
Yeah. Yep.
However, life had different plans for us. So my wife and I actually really loved COVID during that time. We were introverts. We found out we were really introverted, actually. And we ended up having our son, completely unplanned, but the greatest surprise we ever thought we would have. And that sort of spiraled into a number of things where we're like, okay, we got to get serious about our lives. We got to buy a house, got to do these things, right? So we in the process of buying our house, there was this long span of time. We started to renovate it, and my body was just falling apart in the process. I thought it was stress. Turns out it wasn't. As we're going through the process, my wife and my wife did everything she possibly could to assure a very healthy pregnancy. We get to the hospital, we're excited for the best day of our lives, and it ended up being one of the hardest days of our lives. My son suffered a very traumatic birth, and we were told 3 days after, horrible complications, no brain activity besides seizures, that we would have to make the decision to either have a son that was going to be so severely disabled that his quality of life would not be worth living, or not having a son at all. So we didn't really have any other choice other than to lean on our faith, and we reached out to social media and asked for a miracle, basically. And that's what we got. So 10 days later, he is healed. Now he's almost 2.5 years old, runs circles around me.
Oh my gosh.
He's a miracle in every sense of the word.
Yes.
And but it was kind of like God said at that time, listen, I've shown you that I could do the impossible, because what's coming next is going to be even harder. So we found out about a month after we got home from the hospital that I was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic lung cancer. The leading cause of death among all cancers, even though I'm non-smoker, I like to add, but it's still just one of those things where it had to not make sense in order for me to continually move forward in the way of thinking of you know what, let's take this adversity and turn it into an advantage, you know? So that is sort of where we decided, our community just rallied around us in every way possible through all of that. And I think that's where the sort of, I guess, my attitude through it all, my family's attitude, it started to rub off on people. And I think that that's where they saw that this positivity can still spread kindness in the face of adversity, no matter what you're going through. And that's what took off. So a friend of mine, he reached out, said, we love what you're doing, in this community. We were still doing a lot of fundraising, and lo and behold, that's how Random Act of Kindness Day basically started. And they wanted to name it after me and my family, which was just a huge honor for Delaware.
That's awesome.
That's incredible.
And it's actually something that I truly believe myself, that I think the one thing that we always have to give, especially when times are really hard, is kindness. That's the one thing we can always control, being kind to others, whether it's buying someone's coffee or holding the door. Something small or a large act of kindness. It's something that we can always control in our daily lives when it feels like everything else is spinning out. So how can people, again, maybe it's something small, maybe it's something large, how can people participate in Random Acts of Kindness Day?
Sure. So we did 7 days of kindness last year to try and give people a good idea. You can follow me on Facebook at Red Ryan, or Instagram at Ryan Ennis Motivator. I'm going to put up a bunch of different ideas and things like that today to reshare them. But some of the biggest things are just leaving a positive note on people's cars, on the gas pump, just you got this, keep going, a strong word of thing. But just things like you said, buying somebody coffee, holding the door, being able to go out of your way if you know that there's someone in your community that's struggling. Go and mow their lawn, go and take care of things around their house.
The neighborly things.
Neighborly.
Things that we get caught up in daily life, we forget to do, I think.
That's the biggest part of it. We get so stuck in autopilot and going through the motions and being in a hurry everywhere that we never stop to be present, to make moments matter, right? And that's what life is all about.
Definitely. So don't forget, tomorrow is Random Acts of Kindness Day. You have a little bit longer to prepare.
Yes.
You don't feel ready to think about what you're going to do. And Ryan, I just want to really thank you for sharing your story. I know it's not easy, but you really represent so much of what we love about the Delmarva Coast, community and strength. And I think your story today is going to motivate a lot of people and inspire them.
That's great.
So thank you for being here.
Thank
do
you
you
so much.
know what you're going to do tomorrow for your Random Acts of Kindness Day? Or is it a surprise?
Well, the biggest part, and I will just end with that.
Okay.
The biggest part about this Random Act of Kindness Day that I ask is that you don't ask for recognition or reciprocity, right? So you do it, And don't go and tell everybody about what you're doing. Just
Yes.
do the act of kindness. Don't shove, a bunch of microphones.
Look what I did.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm so kind.
Yes, yeah. That false humility,
Yes.
it's like, oh my gosh. So that's really what we want to do is just spread the act of kindness in any way you can, no matter how small it is, and just go about your day.
Perfect. Sounds great. So yours will stay a surprise, but if you see Ryan, let us know if he did something nice for you. Yeah. We'll try to spread it here too. Well, Ryan, thank you again for being here. Tomorrow, Random Acts of Kindness Day. Let us know what you're doing if you're not feeling that humble about yourself. Let us know how you're spreading kindness.
We'll acknowledge your
Yeah.
random acts of
We'll
kindness.
celebrate you, exactly. All right, hey, don't go anywhere right now, though. We have some more Coast Life on the way that you just don't want to miss. All right, Coast Life, we're taking you back just for a minute here to 2021, the tragic day everyone on Delmarva remembers.
Yes.
It's the day that Corporal Keith Cook died. He was killed in the line of duty. But something I love about the Delmarva Coast is that they do such a good job of remembering him, honoring his family, and all the other first responders. So a couple weeks ago, we sat down to talk about this coming He Cook Fest. It's coming up here very soon.
Yeah.
I know we're all looking forward to it. So take a look at this interview we did, and you're going to learn a little bit more about this year's He Cook Fest. Well, everyone who lives on the Delmarva Coast and beyond, you probably know the name Keith Cook. That's because he was a Delmar police officer who was tragically killed in the line of duty. But his legacy, his honor, it all lives on with the help of people like Rob Childs with Preston. That is why we have Rob here with us today. We're talking about He Cook Fest today. Can you just tell us a little bit about what's coming up, what this event entails for Keith Cook?
Sure, yep. So this is year 2. We're really excited to be a part of it. Doug Marshall and Kylan Barn have put an incredible event together. Doug had reached out to the Wilson family because we have a relationship with a popular country band called Low Cash. And so with our relationship, which has been almost a decade now with the guys at Low Cash, Doug had said, hey, it would be great if Low Cash could probably come out. So we reached out to Low Cash, and they were all on board. They didn't care if they had to do a red-eye flight or whatnot to make it happen during the summer tour. But this mission and this cause is tremendous and important to Preston. Community is a core value for our company. So once this opportunity came about, we were all in. So really excited because it's finally coming up, August 27th. So this coming Sunday at the end of the month. So looking forward to a great day and a great event.
Yeah, so we know that community is one of the core values of Preston Automotive, and I mean, you guys get involved with so many community events. Why was this one so important to you to be a part of?
Sure. So when you talk about community and serving, every city that we're a part of with all of our stores, obviously first responders, officers, that's what they do every day. So there's not enough ways to thank them for everything they do, and then obviously what happened with Corporal He Cook and impacting his whole family and the community back in 2021. This is a tremendous event, so we definitely wanted to be a part of that, just in any way possible. So reaching out to Low Cash and being there, and we look forward to being there day of at the concert as well. Just a tremendous opportunity. It's supporting 3 different charities.
So, Rob, He Cook was a dad. He was really involved in his community, a big family guy. That's what a lot of people told us about him. And of course, it's tragic what happened, but this event itself is for families as well.
It is.
To remember him. Can you tell us what families will be able to experience?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we will have helicopters from the Delaware State Police and the Maryland State Police landing. So I know I have a 3-year-old. He's going to think that's the coolest thing in the world, I think. But there will be, I know there's snow cones that'll be there and just some kind of cool food trucks and vendors like that too. But yeah, it kicks off at 4 o'clock with the national anthem, and then our friends at Low Cash take the stage around 7 o'clock. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Definitely. I think we're all looking forward to it. A really fun and just a really special event remembering him, and I think his family too will be appreciative that we're keeping his memory alive.
Yes. Yep.
So one more time for people, just to remind us when and where He Cook Fest is.
Yes, so Sunday, August 27th, so coming up at the end of this month. You can buy tickets on He Cook Fest 2023. It's an Eventbrite event, so just if you search online, that'll be the first thing to populate. It's only $30, and again, it's supporting 3 tremendous charities, and they all really impact locally and obviously really great causes for first responders. So I'm really excited.
Yes, we're excited too, Rob. Thank you so much for being here and for telling all of us about this incredible day that we're going to have.
All right, thank you.
Hey, don't go anywhere. We have more Coast Life on the way. We'll be back in just a minute.
I'm Maya Henry and welcome to Coast Life. I am currently at Millville, Delaware at the Lord's Landscaping Garden Center in Mercantile. If you're looking for the perfect gift to spruce your home inside and out, this is the place for you. The Lord's Landscaping Garden Center in Mercantile has been located in Millville, Delaware for 45 years. Amy Hughes incites us of a business that doesn't just have all the unique finds, but a heartwarming family history. It all began with her great-grandparents, Amos and Marguerite.
Across from the Mercantile building, across the street right here, was a small mercantile type store that they owned originally when they first got married. And they lived in a little room right above the store that they owned, and it had all different types of goods that they sold there.
The couple then sold their little shop and moved to what is now the building it is today.
Delaware feeds A.F. McCabe and Company, and that's where Lord's Landscaping is today. Amos actually sold feed during the chicken boom, and that was his business, and he built this house that we're in today. So this house actually had all 4 of his daughters, and these are the 4 daughters that lived in this home.
The business was then passed on to their granddaughter, Donna Lord, for 40 years with her husband Bill, the parents of Amy Lord Hughes. Years later, Amy Hughes and her husband Pat Hughes have now owned the business for 5 years, containing 5 different divisions. The 5-acre garden center consists of 6 greenhouses and 16 garden beds that surround the property where you can get all of your plant needs.
So we have the garden center, which is on 5 acres. We sell pottery and statuary. We have 6 greenhouses on this property where we sell herbs and veggies and annuals and shrubs and trees.
For hard good, bulk materials, or bag materials, you'll find them at the garden center. Connie Marshall, general manager of the garden center, started as a frequent shopper. She combined her former shop Wild About Birds with her passion for the garden center. Connie showed us the indoor and outdoor perks of what you can find when shopping.
Kind of fertilizer and insecticide and miticide and lawn supplies and everything that you need for that. We also have water. We've got sprinklers and hose attachments and this, that, and the other. We've got flags and flagpoles. We've got all the hardware that you're going to need, whether you're hanging your baskets of flowers or whether you're hanging bird feeds or bird baths or anything like that. And we've got a complete line of indoor pottery.
If that wasn't enough, the Lord's Mercantile gift shop adds the perfect touch to decorating the inside of your home.
We have the Mercantile now, which is our new home and gift shop. It has all different types of decor. It has a baby room, a kitchen. We sell purses, jewelry, all of the things that a Mercantile should.
Gigi Patch, general manager of the Mercantile, says her favorite part of the job is the reaction from customers.
2-part. One is when they come in, and the second is when they leave, because they're always happy. I literally hear people say, I'm so happy.
But the business couldn't bloom without the help of their staff.
Our staff is amazing. They will greet you at your car. They will help you pick out all of your things. They will carry it all to your car. They will deliver it to your home. They are just really exceptional, and we could not do any of this without them.
Awesome staff couldn't be as successful without an awesome leader. Operations manager Laura Seitz Wilkinson says it best.
Amy and Pat really lead by example here, so we owe all of our great customer service to them because, it's hard to find people like them around this area. Amy will, as soon as she walks out of her office, she's greeting the first person she sees. She's making sure that everyone is well taken care of. She, just like she says, the staff will help you to your car. They'll help you with your pots, your plants. Amy does the same exact thing, and we owe it all to them.
If what you have seen isn't great enough, they have so many more events that are hosted here. To be sure to stay on all their future events, please visit their social media pages. There's more Coast Life on the way.
This segment of Coast Life was brought to you by Lord's Mercantile.
Paige, isn't it just the absolute worst when you walk into your kitchen and all of a sudden you see them? Ants!
It feels like someone's breaking into my home.
It really does.
I get so mad. And Leah, I was telling you this. I walk home, I'm like so happy to be home the other day, and spider. And I couldn't even sleep in my own room.
Yeah, no, we love our 4-legged friends, but once they have more than that, we got issues.
Time to go.
And nobody wants to deal with pests in your home. No. That's why our friends at Accurate Termite and Pest Control have you covered. Our field correspondent, Maya Henry, is checking in with them.
Summer is here and pests are on the move to get in and under nearby homes. General Manager Travis Nichols of Accurate Termite and Pest Control says to get rid of those creepy crawlies, routine pest control is needed to eliminate those unwanted visitors.
Routine pest control is always the best because insects move year-round. Regardless of whether it's cold, whether it's hot, insects are always moving around. Just like us, when it's hot outside, they want to get inside. When it's cold outside, they want to get inside. So the best thing to do is have a routine maintenance plan to make sure that your home stays protected year-round.
Unfortunately, an amount of pest activity will always be present, but continuous maintenance can help control the number of pests near your home.
So routine maintenance, we will come out quarterly. Once every 3 months, we will come out to do a maintenance treatment around the exterior perimeter of the home. We'll treat around your foundation, your door frames, your window frames, the eaves, most of your entry points into the home there.
As the summer heat begins to rise, so does the number of mosquitoes in your backyard.
Mosquitoes can lay 100 to 200 eggs at a time, and typically those eggs hatch in 8 to 10 days. So that's why it's extremely important to stay on a maintenance plan, because imagine 100 to 200 eggs hatching and 8 to 10 days later becoming adults, and let's say that half of those are females. And then you got that whole cycle going again and again and again. I mean, it can populate pretty fast.
While DIY mosquito treatments can be helpful, Accurate Termite and Pest Control has a plan to stop them in their tracks.
We do a maintenance plan that is seasonal. It runs May through September. We come out once a month and we do a full misting of the yard, low-lying areas, shrubbery, things like that where breeding sites are likely to be.
A strong team makes for a thorough 2-month training to ensure that their workers learn the accurate way.
After the initial 2 months is up, I personally go out with them on a route and just kind of see what they've learned, and do they understand enough for us to give them their own truck to be able to start to perform services. After 1 year, we do start to prepare them for state testing so that they can become state certified.
After their 1 year is completed, the staff take the next step to receive the education needed to perform a complete pest control service.
State certification is a test that is put on by the Department of Agriculture. You have a core, which is your basic understanding of pests, pesticide handling, safety, things like that. And then there's individual categories for certain things. You know, to be able to do mosquito treatments, you have to have a certain category. To be able to do lawn and shrubbery and tree treatments, you have to have a certain category. For termites, for regular pest control, you have to have a certain category.
Travis even showed us some common breeding sites to be aware of at your home.
So, just some tips to kind of keep in mind when it comes to mosquito breeding sites. You know, this fountain currently is not running, and stagnant water is where mosquitoes typically like to lay their eggs. So if this fountain is running, the water is not stagnant, which means that it's harder for the mosquito to breed in these areas. You know, another little tip for homeowners is, you know, keep bushes and shrubs and trees trimmed away from your house as much as possible. This is like a highway for insects. You know, keep in mind when we do our routine maintenance, we're typically doing your foundation, you know, your downspouts, your eaves and stuff like that. But we're not always spraying, you know, all, you know, up and down the entire home there.
If they show up at your door after routine maintenance, Accurate Termite and Pest Control will have an easy fix to your dilemma.
However, in between services, Accurate does offer a full warranty. So if you need us because something popped up, all you have to do is give us a call, and we do return at no additional cost.
Some tips to keep these critters from entering your living space are keeping firewood from touching the outside of your home, storing pet food in a sealed container, and keeping your crawl spaces dry as the humidity arises.
And you know, Leah, it honestly gives me like peace of mind knowing that there's people like that out there for when I come home and there's a daddy long legs in my room.
Yes, I mean, I think the best thing too when you look at a company like Accurate Termite and Pest Control is like they try to take care of the problem before you even have a problem.
Yeah, please.
Like, prevention is the key.
You're talking my language.
To never having to come home to a kitchen full of ants.
Exactly. Saving young women who are terrified of bugs one kitchen at a time.
Exactly. But don't go anywhere. We've got more Coast Life for you when we get back.
This segment of Coast Life was brought to you by Accurate Termite and Pest Control.
I'm right, Coast Life, I think you're really going to enjoy this Get Home Safely tip today with our friends at Seaside Krav Maga. Leah, today we're talking about what does a predator look for? Yeah. So that is why we are so thankful for our friends at Seaside Krav Maga. Here is this week's Get Home Safely tip.
Predator is really looking for an easy target, right? The predator doesn't want somebody that's going to fight back, put up a fight. We sometimes say the predator doesn't want to get injured or doesn't want to get caught. But the reality is a lot of these predators and bad guys, bad women, are predators, and they've been injured or they've been in jail before. So it's not their first go around. So the fact that they might get caught maybe isn't going to stop them. But they're looking for an easy target, basically. Somebody that's distracted.
This is a horrible situation. Hopefully you had an alarm, you had a dog, you heard something, something didn't feel right. If the person came home with you, maybe something didn't feel right, we should end it early. But if I'm down here to here, you're gonna grab the back of my head, you're gonna put your thumb in my eye, you're gonna bend your right leg, push and roll. Yes! Okay, you're out, great, hit me and get up. They did a study where they took a film of a New York City street to prison, to predators, individually, and all of them picked the same people. It's their body language. The person that's not paying attention, they're on their phone, the person that's walking like they're afraid, not the person who's standing up, making quick 2 to 3 second eye contact, I've seen you, and is walking with a purpose. That person becomes, in their mind, too much of a hard target. It's not worth the risk to them. Let's forget about Leah. Let's go find somebody that's going to be easier. They don't want to get in a tussle. They don't want to get, hurt. And the other thing is they're going to tell you what will ruin their plan. They're going to say, don't scream, don't run, or I'll kill you. Those are the two things that ruin their plan. You better start doing it, because if they're willing to kill you here, imagine when they get you around behind the building or into the van and now they have 3 hours to deal with you. Draw the line in the sand here and go.
Leah, ever since we started getting these tips, does it just make you think about what you're doing every day? You're like, oh.
I mean, it really does, and it brings us back to sort of that first basic tip, which is just self-awareness and being self-aware when you go out in the world, knowing things like, no, don't park under the dark spaces, like park in the light when you're going shopping at night.
Exactly, yeah, and like just even like you said earlier, carrying your bags. Oh my gosh, I hate doing 2 trips.
I hate it
into the house. So it really just makes you rethink, and so grateful for that new knowledge. And next week we're talking about, you've probably heard it, run, hide, fight. Really important tip coming up next week as well. So make sure you stay around for that, but also stay around right now. We have more Coast Life on the way.
This segment of Coast Life was brought to you by Seaside Krav Maga.
All right, Coast Life, before we wrap up, we're going to remind you of some talking points because we really want to hear from you.
Yes.
You know, Leah, we were talking earlier about X and them getting rid of the blocking feature.
Yeah.
And it made me think, I want to know, who have you blocked for the pettiest reason? Let us know.
Ooh, interesting.
You know what I mean? Because I've blocked some people where I'm like,
for petty princess.
Yeah. So let us know who you blocked and why. Yeah. It could be a celebrity, it could be your best friend. Let us know.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
We also want to know what you're never going to stop doing.
Yeah.
Like for Paige, it was drinking Diet Coke.
Never going to stop.
Never going to stop.
Don't tell me to.
I'm probably not going to stop hitting snooze.
No, don't. It's the simple things in life that give us pleasure.
It's the little things in life, right? 10 more minutes 3 times is one of those little pleasures.
You get a whole half hour more sleep, girl.
Exactly.
So, girl math. Girl math. And let us know your girl job.
Yeah. Your lazy girl job.
Yeah, I love it. Who are you leaning more towards? There's no wrong answer. We both have great ideas.
Yeah. She's got a solid list.
In my next life.
Yes. But we're getting near that time where we have to wrap things up, unfortunately. But just as always, tomorrow we're also going to have a great show for you. We're going to be checking in with Rob Rector to talk about bad Batfest. That was better.
Batfest. About Batman, if you didn't catch our references. Yeah, exactly. Really fun one. You're really going to want to see that.
It was a spot-on impression.
Batfest. Goodbye, Coastlife. Mine doesn't sound good. I sound like a Gromit. I don't know.
Or Grover, is that who you're thinking of? The Muppet?
Grover! Who's Gromit?
Wallace and Gromit, but I don't think he talks.
We're getting out of hand. We're going to figure this out.
We're going to go practice.
We'll have it back together for you tomorrow morning, or tomorrow evening.